This is a machine you will see a lot in Japan. What is it? Well, it's a rice machine. It's in almost every supermarket car park in Japan. Why do you have it? Well, a lot of Japanese people buy their rice in bulk, and it comes in giant brown paper bags that weigh several kilograms. Why do you need the machine? Well, it dehusks the rice. The rice comes with a husk on it. So you bring your bag, pour all your rice inside, and inside the machine is a kind of giant hairdryer that blows the rice around. And when the rice is nice and white, it comes out of this chute, which you operate with your foot. So don't forget to bring another bag the same size as the one you're putting in. Why is this popular? Well, because bulk rice is much cheaper in Japan, and you'll find these machines in supermarket car parks or just out in the countryside, in a lay-by near a rice field. Japanese insects. If you have a bit of an insect phobia, Japan may not be the place for you. The insects here are bigger and more numerous than I'm used to, believe me. In summer, the whole place comes alive. Everywhere you go, you always get a feeling that there's something creeping and crawling near you. And that's because it's true. But the biggest problem for me, I think, and Japanese people in general, is mosquitoes. They drive you insane. For the whole summer months, and summer is long in Japan, you can't go outside without mosquito repellent. If you do, they'll turn you into a mosquito buffet and annoy the hell out of you. Here I am in a Japanese bicycle parking area, and I've got to use the machine to pay. So let's take a look at the machine. And it does have an English option, which is good of them. But what we usually find in Japan is the English option is not quite English, it's more Jinglish, which, if you don't know, is a kind of mangled form of English. And here you can see issue receipt of unissued. Issue receipt of unissued. I'm going to press payment. And now we look at, decide. Input number and touch decide button, which is quite an unusual choice. And this happens a lot because the people who program the machines simply run the Japanese version through an electronic translator. And it comes up with some very odd choices in English. But it works. There are 9 million abandoned houses in Japan. So 6% of the buildings you see are actually abandoned. Now, why are they abandoned? Well, when a family inherits a house from someone, the taxes on an empty piece of land are actually higher than the taxes on a piece of land with a building still on it. So what families tend to do is just leave the house there, so it slowly decays and rots. Demolishing the house is also really expensive, as all the materials in the house have to be separated and then recycled in groups. As you can see, this house is falling apart. That's often just due to age, but also due to earthquakes, which constantly shake the building apart. A lot of these houses become homes for wildlife, and I like the bats who live in them, because they eat all the damn mosquitoes. Japanese bath time. Now, you may or may not know that in Japan, it's traditional and very common for people to take a shower first and then take a bath. The shower is to wash off the dirt from your body, and the bath is to lay around and have a nice relaxing time. But what's this on top of the bath? Well, these are bath boards. Very popular in Japan. You put the bath boards on top of the bath to keep the water warm. Because if you live in a family, each person takes a shower, then takes a bath, and then you put the bath boards on, and then the next person takes a shower, takes a bath in the same water, I may add. And it goes on, depending on how many people there are in your household. So that's why they have these bath boards. They're very light, they're usually made of a kind of foam, and everyone has them. This is a Buddhist temple bell. The bells are made out of bronze, and they're housed in a small building next to the temple. It's rung by swinging that large wooden log against it to make the soft, soothing, low sound of a Buddhist bell. The most famous time this bell is used is on New Year's Eve, when it's rung 108 times. Now, why so many times? Well, it's because if you look at the traditional Japanese calendar, certain elements of the calendar, when added together, come up with the number 108. So that's a link between the calendar and New Year and the Japanese Buddhist bell. I often hear these bells at night, and they do have a very relaxing sound. There are 80 million bicycles in Japan, and most of them are the exact same design. It's this one. It's called a mama-chari, which translates as mummy's bike. At the back there's always a kickstand and quite a strange drum brake. They all have a built-in lock, and here it is. You slide the white bar through the wheel so the back wheel can't turn. Everyone I know, including me, has a mama-chari. It's one of the first things you buy in Japan. And most of them don't have any gears. There's only one speed. And this example, you can see, has no gears. Every bike has to have a basket at the front. And there's a pinch brake on the front wheel. Strangely, because it's a drum brake at the back. So if you come to Japan, you'll see mama-charis by the millions, because everyone rides them. Why? Why would a video about Japanese windows be interesting? Well, let's take a look. Now, in the north of Japan, it gets very cold in winter, and houses are designed just for that kind of weather, with thick insulation and double-glazed strong windows. But in the rest of Japan, houses are designed for summer, so you have very little insulation and incredibly loose-fitting and thin windows. The window frames and the window panels are made from aluminium, and if I slide one open now, you can see how thin the window panel is. Now imagine how thin the glass in there is. It's incredibly thin. The windows, from a security point of view, are not very strong at all. It's a burglar's paradise in Japan. And these motorhome-style windows make Japanese houses extremely cold. Japanese New Year decorations. Here's a nice selection of decorations that I found in a local supermarket. And these appear immediately after Christmas. As soon as Christmas is over, which is the 26th of December, all the decorations for Christmas disappear out of every store and out of every supermarket. And these appear. And they're made from pieces of rice straw and pine branches and paper and pieces of plum tree. And you put them on your front door or outside your house as a sign that the new year is here, and also a way to keep away evil spirits from your house for the coming year. I have one of these on the front of my door, and I like it. It reminds me that I'm in Japan. Japanese toilets. Now, a lot of people have seen on the internet those high-tech Japanese toilets with a heated seat and the shower and the dryer and the little button you press that makes bird sounds so you can have some privacy. But what you will see a lot in Japan is older toilets like this basic one. You'll find them in a lot of smaller stations or public toilet areas, and in parks, and in older buildings, older houses, older factories, older office buildings. As you can see, the water comes out of the tap at the top. Now, it's not dirty water. It is, of course, clean water that then fills up the tank. But what you won't find next to most toilets in Japan is a way to dry your hands. That's why so many people carry around a little towel or a flannel.